I'm just saying, if I wanted to expand my business in any meaningful way, it would cost me $1.6
Yeah, but for like
million.
most business owners, no.
So tell me, no.
I'll explain
when
it.
you say expand your business, 15% isn't going to do it.
Of course it will. It'll do things like...
No, it's not.
Yeah, here, I'll explain.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I'll explain if you'll let me. It'll do things like allow you to retool. Okay. It'll do things like allow you to buy more tooling that you might need to get jobs done more efficiently, more effectively. That's something that's super important. People are often... especially businesses running behind on tooling costs. They try to make do with less to try to get more. And oftentimes, if they can buy just a single tool, it can make jobs go easier. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to sit here and tell me that if you had a 20% increase in your revenue because it wasn't taxed, that somehow that's not going to assist you in expanding your business? That's absurd.
It's not a 20% increase in your revenue. It is a 20% increase, a 20% decrease in the amount that you are taxed. That is a different thing.
Oh, so wait. So your profit goes up by 15%? So that sounds like an increase in revenue.
I am saying that you are saying two different things.
No, I'm not.
No,
it's the same thing.
That's not the same thing.
Look, you're keeping more of your money, dude. Come on.
And Andrew, I'm not saying that you're not keeping more of your money, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to oversell this as you're going to be able to do all. Yeah, you'll be able to do some extra things, but in general, that amount of money for companies the size of mine, for small businesses, is not going to be the game changer that you think it is. Companies are still going to have to go out and get loans and do those different things when they want to actually expand.
Let's say for a second.
That amount of money, for example, 15% or 20% isn't going to hire another employee for me. It won't even hire another employee for me.
Okay, well, let's say for a second that you're a working class stiff. Such as myself.
Dude, why are we going down this ridiculous?
Well, it's not a hypothetical.
Because
hang on.
What I would like to because
you're not going to let me ask the question.
No, because we've really strayed all the way.
Okay, can we finish this and then we'll move back to the path? I just want to finish it real quick. If you were a working class stiff and you were working in a factory somewhere, okay, and you suddenly paid 15% of your paycheck less in taxes, would that be life-changing for you?
15%?
Yeah, 15%.
Life-changing?
Life-changing.
I don't know. Depends on
how
much you make.
You don't know if that would be life-changing? I don't care what you make.
No, I wouldn't say life.
Whatever you make.
Life-changing?
Yes, if you make anything under $100,000 at 15%, having a 15% pay increase would be life-changing for basically everybody.
A 15% pay raise is life-changing for people?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so wait. So how much are you saying?
What's the average? What's the average raise, bro? It's 2%. It's 2%.
You want to call it $75,000 a year, right? Is what that person makes, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna call it that, and then we're gonna divide that out by 52 weeks.
Well, just
a year.
do 100,000.
So that's about 1,400, and we'll just do no, because you said the average factory worker. So
that's probably more like 60,000.
So. Okay, well, you said the average factory worker. I was just giving you.
Yeah, I would say like 60. So 60 grand. Sure, give 15% of 60 grand. Sure is life-changing money to those people. I guarantee it. Tell me what it comes out to.
When you say that this would be life-changing money.
Yep.
Just so that I'm clear.
Yep.
So let's see here. Because if that's the case.
Yep.
Then if I'm running this right. Then what we would be talking about is $170 a week.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, dude. That's a bill. Yeah, it's a big deal. That's a kid's braces. That's a kid's braces. That's new shoes. That's a lot of money. If you're making $60,000, $10,000 a year is a lot of money, dude. What are you talking about? Are you that disconnected from Main Street? Do you know how much money that is? Like, how do you, what's let me ask you a question. What's a gallon of milk cost? Do you know that?
I'll tell you what, Andrew.
Answer me. What does a gallon of milk cost?
Where I live, it costs about $4.
Okay. All right. So then how is it that you're telling me?
Dude, I go grocery shopping every week.
Well, then how is it that you're going to tell me then?
Hang on, Andrew. Hang on. I want to ask the chat because fine. If you think that I'm so wrong about this, because I think that 15%, I think that 25% like would be a life-changing. Like, I think they're like, okay, I would make an argument for getting an extra quarter of your salary. Okay, I would at least say that you need to be there. But I think that 15%, although yes, it would be helpful and it would be nice, I don't agree that that would be life-changing.
Life-changing.
So I'd like to ask the chat, if you think that that's not life-changing, put 1. If you think that that is life-changing, put 2. 1 for no, 2 for yes. I'm genuinely curious.
So let me get this right. If somebody was going to give you a 15% pay increase, you'd say no because it's not life-changing.
I didn't say I would say no, Andrew, and you're being
disingenuous. But why?
Because what did I just, Andrew,
it's not life-changing. It's not even doing anything for you.
What did I just say to you?
You just said it's not life-changing.
You didn't listen to what I said.
It is life-changing.
Andrew, you didn't listen to what I just said.
Okay, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing here?
What you're missing is I just said that's really nice, and it would be good extra money, but that's not life-changing money. Andrew.
It's life-changing money if you have children. They need braces, they need shoes, they need jackets, they need coats, they need socks, they need school supplies. It's life-changing money if you know what gas prices are like, if you know what car maintenance is like. Yes, $100 on Main Street for the average Joe weekly can make the difference between you keep your job and you don't. And anybody who says anything differently is a liar.
I'm not a liar. I'm just pointing out to you that.
Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how I'm wrong.
I literally just did.
No, you didn't. You just agree with me. It is life-changing. You just think it's not life-changing enough.
Listen, dude, any raise that you're going to get is good. No one's going to turn down a raise.
Yes, exactly. So the thing is this is going to be the same thing if you're talking about corporate level. 15%, we're talking about millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Andrew,
it gives you a lot of capital to work with.
Andrew.
Matt.
I am not saying that you would turn down the tax break or that you would turn it down. My point is that it is not the end-all be-all that you think it is. It certainly wouldn't be for my business. So when you make these
your business is the standard for all businesses then, I guess.
When you make these broad sweeping generalizations, it's very interesting. It's certainly very curious as to, if the TCJA was so good, then why did we start to see a dip in GDP at the end of 2019?
What else happened that year that you could think of?
At the end of 2019, nothing.
Nothing happened at the end of 2019.
Exactly. What happened at the beginning of 2020?
Yeah, and there was no rumors of this thing in 2019 either.
Nope.
Right?
In fact, you can't. In fact, there weren't. And in fact, there weren't, because I've actually looked into this. When was the first report?
I don't actually remember. When was it?
January 5th.
And what was the dip in GDP?
The dip in GDP was the last quarter of 2019 in the United States. I can show you on Fred if you want.
And you're saying that this was caused by the TCJA?
I'm saying that the GDP, for the first time since the Obama administration, right, after 72 straight months of growth, took a dip.
Are you saying that that's because of Trump's tax policy?
I am saying.
Can you just answer my question, yes or no?
I would saying that would be around the time that we would start to see the economic effects of the TCJA
I see.
Based on what most economists say. Isn't that weird?
Isn't the TCJA still the law of the land? So why was the GDP recovering under Biden then? What policy did Biden put in, tax policy, that stimulated the economy, sir? Nothing.
It wasn't a tax policy, but he did a bunch of other policies. Because
what did he do that stimulated it?
Joe Biden actually passed the number of, pieces of legislation, unlike Donald Trump.
What stimulated the economy? How
about
you got nothing, dude. You know it.
Andrew,
nothing.
Andrew, I am really sick and tired.
Come on, dude. Just answer the question, bro.
Letting me take a breath before I answer a question.
Can you tell me what policy?
Shut the up.
You shut the up. Answer the question.
Dude, no.
Stop being a.
No, dude.
Just answer me. Answer the question. Come on, dude. Answer it.
No, I'm done having this conversation with you because I really don't like you, and I don't like having this conversation. I
like you less, but I'll still at least.
I can name one. Every single.
Then name one. Name one. You can't.
You
can't. You can't name one.
Andrew.
You can't name one.
How about the Infrastructure Act? How about the Inflation Act? How about the everything.
None of those stimulated the economy,
Andrew,
dude.
Shut the f
None of them stimulated the economy.
You literally
you shut the
let
up.
me speak. Shut the
You
f
shut the
up.
up. You piece of
Jesus Christ. I'm done with you, dude. Jesus Christ. I'm done with you, dude. I am done with you. You will not even let me breathe to answer a question before you jump all over me. I literally will talk to anyone on this app. I don't mute anybody. Everyone who listens to me knows that. You are a piece of go the away and never come back. I don't want to talk to you again, dude.